Can anybody see something that they're not happy with there? What's that? Half a mark. 10, 9, 8, 7, to what? 7, 6, 5 metre what?
Oh, the text size.
8.
The text height.
The person over there that said, somewhere over there said something about the size or something first up.
Scale.
Someone said the scale?
I said text height.
You said text type, but you're going to have to tell me what text you're talking about.
The
This
numbers.
one? This one?
No, the
This one?
numbers on under the line on the right of the contours, above the grade.
Above the grade,
All those
these
numbers,
text
yeah.
types here? They do look small, don't they? Guess what? They're the ones that are correct. The rest of them are all wrong. So the text types
Yeah,
that are
that's
wrong
right.
are all the other ones. They are way too big. They are 2 times too big. The student had no idea they were doing it at a scale of 1 to 50 and had to resize the text. All right? I wasn't picking on you. If you'd have got that right, you'd have got your half mark. Therefore, because they made everything that height, they also kept their arrows the same. And if you have another lot, those arrows are big. They are big fellas. That's like the guy that's selling flowers on the side of the road with the big arrow saying flowers in West Auckland. Perhaps you don't know the person I'm talking about. I like driving past him in the rain. And someone else is right, but they're a little bit late in getting in there. The rock conglomerate, please don't do that. That is not hatching for underneath there. That means it's all going to be big expensive boulders. All right. So that's given you a couple of nice little tips. What about the batter slope symbol? That's not correct either. It should have a 2 above the line and a 1 to the side. The fill should be a separate note pointing at the fill area. The cut should be a separate note pointing at the cut area, and that should have a 1 on one side and a 1 below. Anything else? What did I ask you to do on the long section? 2 ways of calling up the grade, 1 in something plus a percentage. And I can see a lot of you going, oh, I forgot about that. They're on the long section right now trying to change it. Too late? No, it's not. You can still do that before Sunday. Another thing that's wrong with it, you don't need to do this. Because it's a natural scale, you only need to put 1 to 50, that's all. Oh, it would help if you put A1 as well. Also, it's not sheet 1. It's actually going to be sheet 3 or 4 of 5. So, on your package you're doing for me for assignment 1, it'll be 1 of 5 and 2 of 5. No triangle on the platform. Completely wrong. There's something wrong with that ground line hatch. Not happy. Refer assignment 2 last semester. Have a look and you'll see what, if you've done it correctly, you'll see the right hatch pattern you should be using, or at least the right angle or the scale. Okay, when I explained cross sections to you last semester, I used the analogy of a piece of Swiss cheese with holes in it. And we sliced through it, and we've got a solid line on each side of the hole. Were we allowed to put a centre line on our cross sections? The little sketch you did for me? No. Did I put a big and red through it? If you did, yes. Did you lose marks? Yes. Will you lose marks in this for putting a centre line on the pipe? Yes. You shouldn't be doing it on the long section either. So you better get back in there and erase that centre line right out of your long section, because that goes right the way along the pipe. The other thing is, this is completely wrong because they didn't show this is a very similar assignment to yours. It had a squashed rugby ball on there, but they didn't show it, and they showed the length of the whole pipe right to the end. That student probably was expecting 2 out of 2. I would have thought more like 1 out of 2 because of the mistakes that the student made. I can't remember what I gave them. Next one. Okay, on the face of it, not too bad. I quite like the way the students done their notes on the left, and put this time around they put a key. The other person didn't do a key on their plans, and then it suddenly all turned to custard. I will admit this person's got the right text type, they've got the right arrow size, so they got off to a damn good start. But then when I have a look at it, there are things here that really upset me. Yes, it's fine to put a dimension either side of the platform, that's great, but I don't want all these dimensions down here. That is not what it's all about. And I don't want the M on metres, and I want this rotated around the way I showed you last week. Okay? Not that way. That is incorrect. I don't mind a cranking, that's a good idea. We crank lines when there's like 3 of them coming down together. So we will crank that one away from where it should be so we can put the numbers in it. It's perfectly acceptable. The tree's not right because they've just scaled the tree that they use for the long section by half. It doesn't scale by half, it only scales by half in the Y direction, not. Remember, me, big tall basketball player, to get from that to there, you're only scaling me down, you're not unfortunately pushing my tummy in at the same time. So they got the tree wrong. I'm going to show you how to get the tree perfectly right. I'm going to teach you how to take a block out of your tree for the long section and how to put it back in the cross section the right scale. I'll do that in the demonstration. Not too bad an effort there, but there are other things too. He's found the right hatch for the ground line, but he's gone ballistic and put it everywhere, way over the top. Don't copy that. That's also a dash line all the way through for this pipe. Wrong. And also, that is a centre line, which is incorrect as well. And similar things wrong with this one here. Also, this student decided not to put the viewport layer on. I do not like that. The student came from industry, was quite horrified at the marks that they got. They did it according to their company standards. I have worked with companies that do that. I don't like it. Most companies in Auckland have a defined line for their viewport, and they put it right the way around the drawing. With the exception of structural drawings where you might have many viewports, so you would freeze them. But definitely the main line should be put right around the drawing. Please don't do that. So let's have a look at the assignment. Attention to assignment 2 and how it's made up. So there are 6 marks allocated to the cross section. However, you are supposed to calculate the approximate volume of cut and fill. Oops. Next week, we're going to do volumes. Next week, and I'm giving you a heads up here, you're going to have to produce for assignment 2, one cross section, the other one's going to look sort of a bit like this. And that'll be worth 2 marks. That one there will be worth 2 marks. Don't forget there'll be the tree here as well. So that whole thing's going to be worth 4 marks. The other 2 marks is for a whole series of just that part there. That's stage 1. So we're going to be doing about 3 or 4 there and 3 or 4 there. And this will be our butterfly wings. And we'll probably do another one outside of there as well. So we'll do about 8 cross sections, plus this one here will make 9, 8 plus 1. You'll do these line drawings, which I'll show you how to do one of them today in class. And over here, you'll draw a line around this, and that'll give you the area. So your area will be 2.02 metres squared, and on the other side, which is the fill, that might be 1.05 metres squared. And I want you to write that on each one. That's 1 mark. Half a mark for putting it into the prismoidal cross calculation, which will be what I'm giving you next week, spreadsheet. You'll put it in that and it'll print out an answer at the bottom. I want the right hand side of that cut and paste into AutoCAD. Both of these in model space. No viewports, no pretty drawings, just these line drawings. That's your half mark. And the other half mark, the very last half mark out of 2, yep, you guessed it, the geotechnical engineer comes out of the corner and he's going to go like this, which will be me this time, and he's going to go, we're going to have a compaction factor of 30, we're going to have a compaction factor of 5%. Please apply that to your final answer. In other words, all these extremely fine calculations, he walks out of the corner and says, take 5% off or add 5% and walks away. And that's what they do. I don't know where the number comes from, but it's all to do with the compaction of the ground. I'll go into that next week. And I'll tell you your exact compaction factor next week. This is assignment 2. So yes, 2 marks will be allocated towards the volumes. And that's going to roll on into your design report. So when you're doing your design report, one of the things you're going to need to talk about is the volumes, earthworks. How do we get it out of there? How do we get it in there? Okay? Once you've done this, you'll have a more accurate idea of what your earthworks are going to be. No one's going to have the same volumes. That's what I love about this. Because your sections will all be a little bit different, because you did different triangles, then your volumes are all going to come out a little bit different. They'll be close. Be very close. So it's a good check with your friends to see what they got and you got, sort of thing. Do I have enough time to check 9 cross sections? No, I don't. Do I have enough time to check 1? Probably. So I'll randomly check at least a couple on your drawing to see that you've done it right. Something else that's interesting down the bottom. A further 2 marks is for the design paragraph. It's actually a paragraph that's made up of 3 paragraphs. I wouldn't just give you 2 marks for 1 paragraph. So on the design paragraph, it'll be 1 mark for the figures, the overview of the site, 2 marks for issues, half a mark for issues and half a mark for solutions. Now, you guys aren't structural engineers or civil engineers, so you can only suggest a solution, i.e. environmental engineer to check with the tree. Consult with local iwi regarding the runoff into the water, to the wetlands. So I'm going to make you work for that 2 marks as well. There'll be 1, 2, 3 paragraphs there. Now the big thing is it is not a Word document. It is not to be handed in to me by email. You can only put 1 document on assignment 2, which will be your drawing. So you've got to put it in the text box on assignment 2. There's an open text box. You can do it in Word. If your English isn't very good, I know I would. My grammar's not that great, so I would go into Word, check it, and then paste it into the text box. And once you submit it, once you save it, you can go back and change it. So you might see someone else that's done a good thing that you've left out, so you go back and type it in and save it again, right? So that's design paragraph. That's 2 marks. Now the good thing is when you finish that, that's going to be the start of your design report. So once you've done that, you're going to have 3 paragraphs towards your design report. Probably you already have about 300 words. And the design report has got to be between 1,000 words and 1,500 words. I'll give that to you the week after next. I think I'll be giving that to you. The hand-in is a week or so after assignment 2. The design report you have to do it the same way you do in communications, with the proper referencing and all the rest. I expect you to talk about somewhere between 17 topics. So what happens is students email me saying, I can't fit it all in, can I have some more words? The answer is no. 1,500 max, 1,000 min. If you go 999 on your word count, you will lose half a mark, maybe 1. And if you go over the 1,000, you may lose 2. Sorry, 1,500 you lose 2. There are clever things you can do. You can put words into your figures and cut and paste the figure into the drawing, and it won't show up on the word count. But I don't want everything done that way. So I'm giving you a heads up that your notes that you're doing for your drawing, starting from drawing 1 and 2, are going to end up part of that statement over there, which is going to end up part of your design report. So you're building all the time. Okay? I will go more into those volumes next week when we talk about volumes.
Jen.
Okay?
Jen.
And I do have the class example you can work on as well. So I'll whiz through the notes.
Jen,
There are a few things in the notes that I need to point out. We'll have to go a bit slower. And then I'll go and get a cup of tea and come back and I'll do a demo.